Greetings. In this video lecture, you will learn some programming concept using GDScript. This will help you to understand what you need to know before you venture to create video game in specific genre. Greetings. As this lecture say, we will learn about programming concepts. So what you need to do and what you need to know to create a video game in a specific genre. For example, in every genre, whatever you create, you need to know your variables. So you need to create variables, some data you will use in your game. And these variables are different, specific for the values they are storing. For example, you have a special variable for some kind of box mesh, which is game object, or sphere mesh. It's also some kind of visible 3D game object. You can store strings like simple data, names. You can store colors, um, some character body 3D as a specific game object for a player, for a movement, float, and some array data and some other data, right, like integers. So what you really need to learn from a beginning, and the beginning can be variables. So how to declare variable, how to use variable, how to change variable, and everything about variables. Important thing is, of course, declaring variables. This can be your start about variables. And after that, you will need to see this variable somewhere in the output window, or in some kind of visible shape on your screen, etc. Second thing you will need to know are functions. Everything in game can be created better with the functions. So if you have some problem and you don't know how to solve it, if your code is without functions, it will be very messy and it will be hard for you to make changes. And for this, you need to know functions. As I say, know your functions. There are some default functions like function ready or a function process. And always when you create some kind of video game, it's good to put ready function and process function right after your variables. Uh, and these functions are simply say only lines of your code, but the main purpose of the function is to return some kind of value. So whenever you have function as a list of code lines, use this syntax. Void means this function doesn't return value, or value is void. Also, good thing when you have function with only return, you can just use return. So if you have a function, this is user created function, and you need to return some value in the middle of the function, just use return. In this situation, we have lots of these returns. So whenever something is done, you can use this kind of return. So this is also not a function with returning values, but this function return to the position where the function is started. Returning value for this function is also void. So now you understand their default function and their user created function. For a user created function, you only need to set up a username. Next thing you need to know about function is adding arguments. Arguments are very useful when you need to do something many times. So you can use your function and send some arguments with the function. And with this, you will create some better visible code with less code lines. In early days of programming, the better code is a functional code with a less lines. I hope you understand what I want to tell you. Other things after functions are simple coding techniques like conditional branch with if or while, and the loops. For example, for loop. While is a loop, sorry. For example, here we have some kind of loop. Loop are iterations where the code lines are repeating some number of times. And it is good to know at least for loop, while loop is also very good for you to know. And nesting. What is nesting? Nesting is when you use one concept, programming, for example, if branching with a loop. So this is some kind of nesting. But my suggestion is never go nesting after level 4. I don't nest after level 3, but suggestion is don't go after level 4. What this means? It's a level 1, level 2, and it's a level 3, and you can use level 4, but I really don't suggest this. So nesting with the level 1, 2, and level 3. If you need to nest with a level 4, it's better to think for some other solution. And one other programming concept I want to tell you in this short lecture is classes. So you can use classes. I have one inner class here. So this is inner class, group of code lines with a function. So in this inner class, you can put your user function or some kind pre-default function like this function for initialization. Uh, One other good thing for a class, you can extend class with some kind of default game object. So let me explain you all of this again in a few sentences. Programming concept in GDScript start with variables, then use functions. After that, you can use branching, you can learn loops, and then learn more about function, how function can store argument, return values, how to exit from a function, and after that learn about classes. There are other programming concepts in a GDScript, but for now we will stay with this as is it explained.